Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm Charlie and today I decided that this would be a perfect day to do an office tour. So, I haven't done one of these in perhaps a year, I'd think, but everything's all cleaned up and nice, so I thought, why not do it today while I have everything cleaned and nice. So, for those of you who've already seen my office tours, this probably looks pretty familiar, but I do have some new changes to it. So yeah, basically, so first up we have this big boy over here, this Toshiba TV. I never use it, but usually I use it for TV games, but the sound doesn't work, so I have these external speakers. So yeah, and I also have a bunch of stuff on here like screws and all this other god knows what, like this phone case or whatever. So and then this that I use on my sisters, so that's nice. And over here there's a ping pong table no one ever uses, vacuum cleaner, something, but yeah, basically, moving on. This room used to be a storage room before I took it over with all this, so we have some storage stuff on the side. This is a floor tile that I use for my computer teardowns, and it's not actually part of my desk because sometimes I don't want to use this, and as you can see it's pretty scratched and stuff, and you can see like marks from that iMac that I have been trying to repair for the past month. But yeah, anyway, moving on. This is the tripod I use. I bought it at a Goodwill for not too much. I think it was like $15, and I bought this phone holder separately, which is what I use in all my videos, and people think it's actually a lot better than you may think. I mean, this is a phone, so, and people usually say that the microphones on these aren't that good, but they're actually pretty decent. It's a Mastergeko something, but it's pretty decent, very light, which is what I like about it, but it can get blown over in the wind, and yeah. Otherwise, let's move on. So yeah, this is my desk. Underneath I have monitor storage. This is storage for broken computer parts and stuff, and also smashed things. Moving on behind here, this is where all my cable management is, and as you can probably tell, it is extremely organized. So over here we have this other shelf. The only reason why this shelf here exists is because I like this to be like the display, and that's pretty nice, and it's pretty nice. So yeah, and also I just have a couple of other things that I don't know where to put, like these, I don't know, it's just a bunch of little doodads and stuff. Got a squishy truck, PlayStation 2 Slim. You can barely see it. It's actually right here. Let me just try adjusting the brightness. You can sort of see the PlayStation logo, but other than that, there's also my blue Game Boy, the original blue one, which is actually pretty rare apparently, so that's pretty cool. NES Classic Edition, made a video on that if you don't remember, and it was a pretty neat little thing. There are a few things that I don't really like about it. I never actually use it, and I might actually make a video on some things that I don't exactly like about it. And then I also have the box up here. Anyway, I also have this stuff on the wall, also for decoration. These are some iPhone 5S boxes, which look pretty nice. Let me just make my brightness better. There we go. And I also have these printed out posters. Like an Apple logo, the new iMac to go. I also have this Apple TV box, the Apple TV 4K. For some reason my phone isn't focusing, I don't know why. And then I also have this little Dig Dug arcade machine. Moving on, this is where my other work area is. This is basically where I use my primary computers, which are the computers I use the most out of all my computers. So this is the iMac, the Intel iMac, the one that I have the Subscribe Now logo on. I actually have two of these. The one I originally used to use was this one, but it got infected with viruses, so I might actually erase the hard drive and reinstall the OS, but I'm not sure what I'm doing with that just yet. And this one just seems to be working better, but I know that one is better than this one, but otherwise that's it. I have these Bose speakers. These are actually on the first ever computer that I used, which was the model that came after this iMac, the iMac G6 as some people call it, or the first aluminum iMac. And we don't actually have that anymore, unfortunately, but I found the speakers for it, so I like to use it for nostalgia. And I have a keyboard, and yeah, moving on, we have the Macintosh SE. Trying to get this Microsoft Flight Simulator thing to work on it, and I'm not really having too much luck with it, but other than that, we can move on. I have some Mac Minis, Color Style Writer, my laptops. I have a couple more, but they're upstairs because I'm messing with them in my other room. So we have the iBook G4, we have the PowerBook 180C, first iPad, PowerBook 180C software, my first iPod, which was the 5th generation iPod Touch, the wireless keyboard for this, but the battery's dead, so I'm using a wired one, and the sad, broken PowerBook 190CS with the broken hinge under a shipping box from the floppy emu. Moving to the bottom, we come to some of the bigger boxes. The VST USB floppy drive with color kit box we have here. Over here we have the iBook G3 box. That's not actually the original iBook G3 box. That's not the actual original box from my iBook G3. I just got this from my school and I thought it was cool. Then over here we have the iBook G4 box. We have the accessories kit from the PowerBook 180C. We have the box from the Macintosh Classic. What's actually funny is that the seller never mentioned that he was going to be that this was included, but it got shipped in this, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever when I first got it, and it's pretty nice, so I've kept it since then. And it's a bit ratty, but it's pretty cool. And then finally we have my my Power Mac G4. It has a display issue, so I never use it anyway, but that's about it. Moving on, we have this big shelf. This is for storing all my stuff. And yeah, so at the top, we have the smaller toaster Macs, as I like to call them, or the compact ones, the early ones. This is where I store them up here because they're the lightest and they're the easiest to get up there. And naturally, this SE would be up there, but I'm currently using it. The other SE has has the issue with the sad Mac logo. I might try to fix that one day. And then there's the Classic, but I never seem to use it. I never use it for some reason. I don't know why, but I think it might be because of the hard drive is full already. Moving on, we have the Macintosh TV, the Apple Newton, and I actually haven't made a video on this yet. This has never made an appearance in any of my videos, but I'm thinking about doing it soon. It works. I actually got it for free from one of my teachers. It's in beautiful condition. However, the only drawback is that the door on the back, it's just the door, thankfully, has been chewed up by their dog. And it also comes off pretty easily, so that's kind of a shame, but I might try to replace that soon. Also, the two top rubber feet are missing, so that's lovely. It comes with the dock, and it came with a whole bunch of accessories and discs, which I'm about to show in just a second. So yeah, moving on. So on this level, this is when Ollie and I first built the shelf. I always thought that this level would be pretty useless, but it's actually the most crowded of them all. I use this shelf to store all my keyboards. There's my phone box for my iPhone 7. I use to store all my floppy disks. I'm thinking about getting a floppy disk holder, but I haven't decided yet. All this here is Newton software, CD software for Macs, and all this is also Mac software. And then here, you can barely see, it's an unopened box of Macintosh floppy disks, and I actually got 2 of them in a lot, and the discs from the other box are actually right here. These ones, all these beige ones. Then I haven't used them yet, but these I don't have a use for just yet, but I plan on using them soon. But Otherwise, moving on, we have all my boxed things and accessory kits. So we have this 5-inch black and white portable TV from Emerson. If you didn't remember, I made a video where I played video games on this thing, and that was pretty fun. Over here we have Mac OS 10 Tiger. We also have Mac OS 10 Panther, or 10.3. We also have After Dark 2.0, my absolute favorite screensaver of all time. I don't really like the more modern ones because I think the pixelation of the 2.0 just is really cool. This was actually sealed when I bought it, so that's neat. I also have SimMania. It isn't a game, but it's all the original Sim games, besides 2000 and anything above that. But it's literally all the original Sim games like SimCity, Sim Tower. I don't see Sim Ant in there or anything like that, but it came with a bunch of different discs, and it was sealed also when I got it, and I think it was pretty cool. So here we have a Pac-Man arcade machine in its box. I never use it, so I just like to display it. We have Falcon 4.0, which is a flight simulator for the iMac G3. Mac OS 10 Snow Leopard, or 10.6, which I actually use for the more modern Macs like that one. And most of these books from here on out, I've either gotten at thrift stores, friends have given them to me, or my school has given them to me. So, first one is the Macintosh iLife 2006 in the classroom. This actually came out when I was born, which is pretty funny. So, it appears to be a library book, but I got it. This next one, how to do just about everything on a computer. This one is, I bought this one at a thrift store for like $2. I liked it because it was vintage, but it's more for Windows PCs, so I never use it. The iMac book. This book's actually pretty cool. It actually looks like an iMac G3 on the cover, but I don't really want to take it out. The Ultimate iMac book, which is also iMac G3 book, and if you want, I can actually take this one out because the other iMac book is kind of hard to take out because it's just the right height. But yeah, there you go. It's pretty cool actually. I really like the cover for that one as well. And the next book I have is the iMac 2nd edition in 24 hours, Teach Yourself, and I actually got that one with the Grape iMac G3, which is actually broken, and then I also have the iMac for Dummies, and that's about it. So I also have these two boxed Logitech Mouseman mice for the Macintosh. These are for the older ones, like those ones, but theoretically you could use them with the newer ones as well, like the Performas and the Power Max. And then I have a bunch of accessory kits, one for the Grape, which is there, one for the Power Mac G3, which I don't have. I got that from my school. And then I have two other accessory kits, one for a lime and one for a blueberry. And I don't actually own a lime, but I do own a blueberry, but it didn't come with this one. I got that from my school as well. But I'm actually hoping to acquire a lime very soon. So if I do acquire one and then I do eventually sell it, it'll be worth a lot more. So that'll be nice. And then I also have this really lovely setup guide that came with my Grape as well in the accessory kit. And I like to have it separately because I sometimes just like to take a look at it. It's actually a pretty nice little accessory kit if I can open it. But it's basically this little 3-page thing that shows you how to set it up. One, take that out, which is the stand, which you want to do so it doesn't overheat. Plug it in, of course. Plug in the keyboard, of course. Plug in the mouse, of course. Plug in Ethernet, I guess, and turn the thing on. And this is probably the easiest setup guide ever, and anybody who's used a computer probably knows how to do all of this. But otherwise, it's pretty nice. I like it. And it's so funny to think that like most of these are all really rare colors. For example, that looks like the graphite actually, but for example, look, here's the strawberry, the lime, which is actually really rare, this one. There's also the tangerine, which is also pretty rare, but it's really funny to just take a look at these things, and it has setup basically. That's pretty nice. Oh yeah, and then I don't think I mentioned these, but I also have the iMac G3. This is the This is the 99 tray loading blueberry one, and then I also have the late 99 grape one, which is here, and unfortunately it doesn't work, and I haven't been able to fix it, so it's just gonna sit here for possibly the rest of its existence. And yeah, basically, moving on to the final shelf below, we have a bunch of these identical Apple wired mechanical keyboards. We have this ThinkPad, we have the Samsung TV I like to use in my videos, and then over here we just have a bunch of crap. For example, if you can see in the back, you can barely see it, but there's the Brother Monitor word processor, the Brother monitor from that word processor I found in my grandma's house. We also have this keyboard, VR for your phone, although it doesn't fit my phone, a PlayStation 3, another ThinkPad, but it's locked, a Panasonic DVD player with YouTube, and this Asus gaming laptop, which also doesn't work. But that's basically it for all this. And now I guess we can move on to this area, which is where I store all of the essentials. So over here I have a clock, which I use for telling time if you don't know what a clock does. Over here I have my iMac G4, which won't stay up, which is really annoying. I don't like the look of it when it's like that. I like it more like that because you can see the base, but it won't stay like that. And I don't have a weird screwdriver that looks like that, so I don't think it's ever gonna happen. But well, actually, what if I just did it like that? Yeah, this thing just hates its existence, I guess. Otherwise, I also have a keyboard for it. I have that separate with that because I was actually thinking about selling this thing, but I decided not to because I thought that would just be a waste of time because I want one of these, but it just doesn't have a hard drive in it, and it's probably going to be a pain to do it, but I'm still thinking about it. And I'm procrastinating about accepting people's offers. Over here, we just have this little storage thing with screwdrivers, other stuff, and other stuff. So I have some stuff on there, a blender, speakers, paper towels, more speakers. I have quite a bit of speakers. Box of computer parts. I have disk drives, a bunch of stuff. Some of this stuff may not be working. Most of it, I believe, is. We also have these shelves. This one has tools in it, cables, chargers, headphones, and mice. That's a continuation of it. CDs, DVDs, and floppy disks, and hard drives in here. We also have all the cleaning supplies in here. And then this is just a box of random miscellaneous stuff. This one doesn't actually open because it broke when I was trying to open it because it was stuck. So I never actually opened this. This has all the useless stuff in it that I have no idea what it does. And then down here we have the Brother word processor that goes with that monitor in there. And then over here we have laptop chargers. So I don't put my laptop chargers in there, I put them in there. I have a whole bunch of Palm Pilots. I have acquired many of these over the years, and I have no idea why I have so many of them, but I just do. I also have chargers, so if you want a Palm Pilot, hit me up. Over here is my eBay inventory. This is mostly the stuff that I sell on eBay, and I got 95% of the stuff from my school. Most of it is just a bunch of identical discs that I don't need for anything, that I'm happy to sell off to other people who do need them. So basically, it's basically a service that I'm doing. I have a bunch of software pouches for people, and we also, and I have taken one of each of these things for myself, so that I'm not losing anything. But I have a bunch of software pouches. If you're interested in buying any of this stuff, check out my eBay store, link in the description. And then finally, I just have some game accessories, which is just a bit of a few controllers and other stuff that I never use. And then here, I have this box of cell phones that I don't really want to go through. And then I also have this stereo that goes with these speakers. I never use it. And that's about it. And I also have this box over here of miscellaneous crap. Anyway, so that, I believe, is about it for this room. I have another room, which is actually my bedroom, and this place is pretty, I don't know. You decide. I mean, I know there are people who have a lot more stuff than I do, but to be honest, I have a lot of stuff, and it's pretty nice actually because if something, I don't know. I mean, I guess we're done with this. There's a bit more. There's just a tiny bit more that I want to show. I also have this. I have this record player here. It doesn't work in this country, so and the needle is broken, so it's useless. I have some school stuff from a couple of years ago. Train set that doesn't work in this country. Suitcases, and that is literally everything I can show in this room. And then I have some monitors down here. This Philips monitor and this Apple Studio display for the Mastergeko4, which doesn't work. And that is pretty much everything there is to see in this room. So, now that we're done with this room, it is time to move to the final room, my bedroom. Alright, so now we are going to be doing a bedroom tour. So, this is my bedroom, and if you don't know, if you're not an older viewer like a small amount of my older viewers, you may remember that you may not know, but this actually used to be where I originally recorded my videos. Basically, my desk, which is over there now, used to be here, and I used to record my videos here, where my bed is. So, yeah, it might look a bit familiar to some people, and that is why. So, over here we have my bed, obviously, and a night table with a watch, an alarm clock, and a Jeff the fish. There he is, he's sleeping. He was moving just a second ago, but I guess he's asleep now. Over here I have some storage crates, there's a pile of broken computers, a Dell monitor that I used to use but I don't anymore, guitar, oh yeah, and I also haven't made a video about this, but I recently got this original Xbox from a Goodwill for $15, so that's pretty cool. Over here is my desk setup, which is pretty interesting actually. So we have a lamp here that I also got at a thrift store for $15. And basically, what I have here is this dual monitor setup. So basically, what I can do here is I have basically this dual monitor setup, and basically what I can do with this. So basically, my computer is this crappy little Windows tablet. It's this Surface Pro 3. I don't really like it, and I'd rather have something different because it's not that big and it's not my favorite. But this is what I have. So yeah, basically what I've done is I've connected a VGA to mini DisplayPort adapter to it, so I could connect this external monitor, which I got at Goodwill also for $15. Everything I keep getting at Goodwill is for $15. And what I've done here, so basically what's really cool about this is you can multitask. For example, see my cursor is here, and now it's over here. How did that happen? It's called magic, people. And also there's a gap here, so it can't be connected, but it's connected through here. So if you're not into computers, this is actually a pretty useful and very it's a very useful way of using a computer, because for example on this screen I could like be playing a game or watching a movie. No, maybe on this screen I could be like playing a game or doing something important like homework, and then on this screen I could be watching a movie or chatting with my friends on my Discord server, which by the way you should totally join, link in the description below. And it's actually really cool. So basically I also have all these apps here, so you can pause and take a look at them. I'm not going to talk too much about them. I have a bunch of batteries, AA's and AAA's, because I'm not stupid. Nintendo Switch dock for a Switch I never use. Upcoming project that you will see in an upcoming video. Chargers for MacBooks. A really fancy wood grain clock, which I remember was $3 at the Goodwill. Paper Commodore PET. Probably never seen one of these before because I made it myself. Lava lamp, which I never use. $15 lamp. Pens. 2006 MacBook, a 2008 MacBook Pro, aluminum, as you can see. This is the cover case keyboard thing for the tablet. It connects on the bottom with this thing, sort of like the iPad Pro does. Well, actually, I don't really know how the iPad Pro does it, but this keyboard is an absolute abomination. Allow me to show you. So you see how the keys are like so close together? What's really annoying about this is like when I press a key, I'm used to spaces being on them, like this one. For example, if I were to press like this, I wouldn't press the other key because there's enough space in between. But with these, there's literally no space in between, so it's really common to press the other key at the same time. Also, the enter key is possibly the worst thing about this. The trackpad is actually not too bad. It's very smooth and very, it's just a pretty good trackpad. It feels nice, and the thing is made of cloth, so it gets dirty really easily because especially when you use it in school like I do, because the tables are full of crap. And yeah, so moving on, we have my TV setup over here, and this is where I usually do console reviews and game reviews for certain games, primarily on the PlayStation 2, which I actually never really use that much. And this is my Sony Trinitron. I did a video on this TV. I think this is like a 96 Sony Trinitron, 13-inch. It's a pretty decent TV. I don't use it that much for some reason, but I should get around to using it. And on the bottom, I have a Sony DVD player with built-in Netflix capabilities, so that's pretty useful, and I really like it. So I use it quite a bit. Oh, it also has Amazon Prime Video, so that's pretty nice as well. And I use both of them, and it's pretty fun. And it's really nice that it connects to this TV, which I found at a thrift store for $12. So technically this TV was cheaper than a lamp, which is pretty funny. And yeah, sorry about that. A phone scammer called me telling me that my car's extended warranty is about to expire. First of all, I don't even own a car, so please don't call me again. I get those all the time. Anyway, moving on. So as you can probably notice, this is a pretty old, antique piece of furniture because of the markings and stickers you can see on it. And that's how you know this is truly an antique from the early 2000s. Moving on. Over here we have this little shelf thingy, which I think I also got for $15. Everything I get is for $15. I have no idea why. But on the top, I have a controller, Simpsons DVDs and other movies, PlayStation 2 discs, and one single Splatoon game for the Switch, random stuff, Polaroid photos, and an extra controller. And then I also have some Wii and GameCube games, which I use with the Wii, which is currently in this box of technology over there, and Nintendo Switch box, and a lunchbox thingy that I like to keep cables in on journeys, on trips. And that will pretty much wrap up the room tour. There's a lot of other stuff I can show you. For example, I have a billboard, I have a few model ships, a calendar, a train calendar, a clock, sort of like the one downstairs, a billboard, what is it called, a dartboard. I also have this really cool alarm clock, which projects the time on the ceiling. You can't really see it, but it looks a lot better at night, so when I'm on my back in bed, I can just look up and see it, instead of having to turn around and look at this one. So it's pretty cool. I recommend getting one of them. It's an Emerson Research Smart Set Time Projector. It's pretty cool. And it tells you the day of the week, has a radio. If you unplug it and plug it back in, or if there's like a power surge or something, you'll keep the time going because it has a clock battery in it. So that's pretty nice. And yeah, that's all there is to it. My clock battery is dead, but let's just hope there aren't any power surges or blackouts anytime soon. I also have a collection of boxed Teslas, because why not? A snowplow, a $2 bill, a bunch of paper Macs. For example, I have a Quadra. I'd be rich if these were real. 2CI, and like 3 portrait displays because I'm absolutely obsessed with them. By the way, if you have one, you're willing to give it away, which I seriously doubt you do, go donate. You could donate it down below. And another regular monitor that goes with this LC over here. And I could just play with these things for hours, and they're really fun to make. It's sort of like they're made in the same way as the pet was made, so that's pretty cool. Just gonna organize, and then also I have this Porsche poster, and finally we have this, which is actually a pretty cool relic. So if you haven't seen 29 Ways to Break a Keyboard, which I totally recommend you see, first thing you'll probably notice my voice and my haircut is completely different, but also you'll probably realize soon after is that it was the first ever smashing video Ollie and I have ever made on this channel. And so to celebrate this, a while ago I found the shell of the keyboard from the shower scene, which is everybody's favorite scene, and the keyboard from the finale, which was on the tree, and then the cord from the finale keyboard, which was cut off and then glued back together. And it also says 29 ways to break a keyboard and keyboard, and it just looks, and it's pretty cool. So I might give this away soon if I get bored of it. So if you're a hardcore fan, which I seriously doubt you are, so maybe I'll give this away sometime, but I'm not thinking about it anytime soon. So that will pretty much wrap up today's video. Huge thanks to nobody, because I did this with nobody, so that's nice. Huge thanks to why do I keep saying that? I don't know, but basically I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed after this, even though it's only 5:15. So yeah, so that'll do it. Thanks for watching. Please donate a portrait display to me, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.